Yeah.
Forward Direction, Greg Welch out of Colorado, GFC, Gary Carlton. So, you have a lot of great teams that want to be a part of it. But also blessed, like I said, to have folks that aren't really there racing, aren't really there at all, but they recognize value and they want to be a part of it. So I'm blessed to have those sponsors.
Well, keep up doing the good jobs, and then the sponsors will keep coming, right? It's
Yeah,
when you keep your customer happy, they want to come back.
for sure. And you know what? Oh man, and I forgot almost one. M2 is a company owned by Mike Giles, one of my racers. Mike Giles is Mike M2 Image Solutions. He's a t-shirt and embroidery company down here in Southern California.
Oh, okay.
He's done all my stuff. I think I'm still the only one that makes podium hats. I'm sure you've seen that we make custom podium hats for every podium finisher.
I have seen
with
that.
with the class sponsor, the date, the track, and your finishing position. So it's always cool to put that podium hat on. It's not just like F1 where they put a Pirelli hat on somebody and take a picture or whatever. I mean, this is personalized for their finishing position that day on the podium. So they're able to take it home, and M2 makes all those hats for me, makes all my t-shirts, all the swag I sell, my t-shirts and sweatshirts and whatnot. I mean, Mike builds stuff for the hat, which is a big pastrami chain down here, and he does stuff for Yamaha. I mean, he has big corporate clients, and he still makes the time to make hats and shirts for Little Old Challenge in America. So I'm blessed to have him. So if you ever need any of that kind of stuff and want to keep it in the family, so to speak, M2 Image Solutions, he does a great job.
Okay, and they people can buy your apparel at challengekarting.com.
Yeah, we bring it to the races. So
Okay.
I'm terrible. I am not a website store guy. It's just not what I do. So it's not like I have stuff for sale on the website except for the entry form, etc. But we always have a table at the track with T-shirts and hats and sweatshirts, and every year we sell out. People seem to like them.
So the next time you'll be at the track will be let's see, March 27th through the 29th at Sonoma, correct?
The next time I'll be at the track
For
is
the Rock Cup
Tri-C.
stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We support Tri-C down here, the Tri-C Club, which has embraced rock, allowing it in their program. We're happy that they've done that. I mean, that's they have not aligned themselves with any particular program, so they allow the rock product, the IAME product to run. They run LO206. They still have a class for 10 guys that run around on KPVs. So and that's, like we talk about, the club's responsibility to wrap their arms around everybody. Tri-C's done a great job down here doing that, and they allow a couple different brands of tires to compete against each other, and our tire does just fine against the others. So it's a good program down here. So that's where I'll be in 2 weeks. But then, a couple weeks after that, I'll be up by you.
Where's the home track for Tri-C?
Fontana, Cal Speed.
Okay, Cal Speed. Okay. All right.
Yeah, it's amazing that Southern California, with all this land and all these people, Cal Speed has 2 clubs that race there. Paris has a club that races there a little bit. Adams, actually, it's the folks that run Tri-C. They run a little 4 or 5 race program at Paris. They run a little 4 or 5 race program at Adams, but they don't have standalone clubs at these tracks. There's no standalone club at Willow anymore. There's no club down in San Diego. There's no track in San Diego. I mean, it's sad, and it's really it's because our land is just so darn expensive here. I mean, to build a proper go-kart track, unless you want it to be an hour 150 miles outside of town, I mean, it costs you $15 or $20 million to build it. How do you make a $20 million investment and get it back with a $15 wristband, one at a time?
Math does not add up.
No, it doesn't. No, it's a lot of subtraction. There's not much addition. I can tell you that.
Yeah, actually, that's good. I'm going to wrap up the interview with a point about expenses, but real quickly. So let's plug the series. We have March 27th through the 29th. You're going to wrap up the Challenge of the Americas at the Sonoma track. And if you go
Correct.
to NorCalCarters.com, you click on the event, it'll take you right to Andy's page so you can register. And you said registration's open, right?
Registration is open. Yes, sir.
Registration is open. And then you said there's some date changes for the California Rock Championship. So give me a moment while I scroll over, because I have those dates on here as well. I had, let's see, May 16th and 17th was the first race at Buttonwillow.
That's correct.
That's correct. Okay. So we're still good there. And then California Rock Cup Sonoma. I had it as a June race.
No, so now that's moved to July 18, 19. There was a conflict down here in June, and quite honestly, June was a pretty busy month. July got pretty quiet. The Club Tri-C that I talk about that it also has that allows rock. Just by the way, the schedule work this year, they have a race on June 7th and then do not race again basically till August 29th. So that club is off for almost 3 months, or about 2.5 months. So because their last race is at the beginning of June, they're actually doing a double header. So I moved the June CRC date into July, that July 18, 19, in corroboration with Sonoma.
Yep. Okay. So that's updated now.
Yeah, Santa Maria, I did bump it a couple weeks later based on that, because I moved the July 19th. Santa Maria was originally scheduled for August 1-2. It's now August 15, 16.
Okay. All right. So we changed that.
And that, yep. So the middle two changed. And then the finale is September 12th and 13th. That's with Sonoma as well. So that stayed the same. And once again, that's the weekend right before the West Coast Rock Fest at Sonoma. So that should be a very big event for Sonoma. With the addition of however many SoCal entries from CRC will come up, and then if you have some of the East Coast teams that are going to come to the West Coast Rock Fest, they can come a weekend early, get some testing done in a very competitive environment. So I would imagine that will probably be Sonoma's biggest race of the year as Rock Sonoma.
Yeah, and then that's not too far, removed from October, November, when everyone goes to Vegas.
Yeah,
I mean, that's going to be a great time for people to kind of test their mettle against the Rock's best.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, you have some folks that end up, are able to get to Italy to race in the international final. By virtue of winning my championship or a ticket through the Winter Tour or Rockfest, etc. Or like you said, guys that are planning to go to Rock the Rio, they're able to try to, sharpen their skills a little bit before they head to Vegas in a month.
So you have your Challenge of the Americas, which is your Winter Series, which is January, February, March. You're going to have the California Rock Championship kicking off as a 4-race series. You're going to be busy this year.
We're busy every year, I mean, it's good. The kids are getting older. My son's off at college. My daughter's halfway through high school. So I'm, a couple more years, I'll get even more free time. I'll probably work harder at 53 than, in 52 or 53 in a couple years than I did at 45 when I was around for all the kids stuff. But the minute my daughter leaves, I'm sure my wife doesn't want me around the house too much, so I'll go back to working entirely too much. But that's okay.
All right, so I'm going to give you an opportunity. We brought up costs a number of times throughout the interview, and it might have been Rob Howden that posted something on Facebook, and it was a handful of racers. And it, quite honestly, is probably just a few of them, not the majority, but a few racers left a bunch of tires and left a bunch of gas cans behind at Cal Speed. So from a promoter standpoint, what does that affect on your business as a promoter?
First of all, I will go back. You're right. It was Rob that posted it. It wasn't the series. It wasn't me. Rob made a statement I was going to fine some people. I certainly haven't done that. It caused the typical, 36 hours of social media, little dust up, and then it went away. It's typical. But there were some good points made, and there were some, not so good points made. But, as a promoter, we're told now by the tracks, you can't leave any fuel cans, any tires, and in Arizona, the track owner has a good enough relationship with the waste management people that we're able to bring in a dumpster, and he's able to take care of that stuff. Cal Speed, they do not. They just say you're in charge of taking everything. Don't leave it, or we're going to fine you, and we'll fine you, $50 a tire, which is, ridiculous. It's just a way to say take your garbage, which I get. Sonoma's much the same way, right? I mean, very environmentally conscious. Do not leave your stuff here. We do not dispose of it. And to be fair to some of the comments made by end users, promoters, organizers should probably do a better job figuring this out. And I can't say that I've done a good job at all in researching and to figure out, what the proper solution is. We do need help from the tracks, though, because the tracks, I've promoted races now in 3 different states. Other promoters, have promoted races in, 10 states, 12 states, whatever it is, if they've crisscrossed and run a national program. We don't always know what the rules are in that municipality or county or facility, right? So we would rely on the tracks to kind of help us out. I don't mind, and in fact, I would welcome if the tracks had done the research and say, hey, look, your rental fee is X. If you take all your trash, hazardous trash, they'll take, water bottles and cups and napkins and whatever. But, the rental fee is X if you are in charge of your fuel can and tire trash, and it's an additional Y if you want us to be responsible for it, because we will contact and bring in, hazardous disposal for you. I would welcome that. That would be great, because then it puts the onus back on us as promoter organizers to say, okay, we are willing to spend that money, to dispose of the stuff properly. Because in the end, people are right, when they make the point that, well, we take it home and all we do is throw it in our trash can. Yeah, I know. I see it. It happens all the time. So we just need to do a better job as an industry in coming up with a creative solution. And, the first person that really does that is going to really stand out. But it will require a collective effort to get it done properly.
Yeah, and it's we have the same problem at a couple of our local clubs as well. We have a lot of new carters coming in, and over the past couple of months, people are posting on their social page, "Hey, quit leaving your tires in the dumpster," because for some of the tracks, it costs them $5 or $10 a tire if the garbage company finds them, or they refuse service, and so the cost can really add up, especially in California.
Right.
I mean, we just can't do anything really. I mean, it got to be so green.
It is the state we live in, right? I mean, you watch a bus leave the bus stop and puts more diesel fumes in the air than 1,000 two-strokes do in a year. But
exactly. But then, I mean, back to your point, it's like, the promoters need to do a better job. Okay, so you do a better job, and the track comes back and says, okay, it's going to be an extra $5,000 on top of your track rental fee for us to do the disposal. Well, guess what, people? Guess who's going to end up paying for that? The racer.
The end user eventually will, because it's what happens, right?
So if people, and it's probably just a few of them. They just think of it as a free dump so they don't have to do it, but it's going to affect the whole crowd, and everyone's going to end up paying here down the road.
The ones that always, I would say it's a cross between makes me laugh and annoys me, is when you see the pile of tires at the end, but one pit's left a pile of tires, right? And you're like, okay, well, now I got to figure out how to get rid of this stuff. But then you look, and and there's tires from a completely different brand that that's not our brand, that we don't run all weekend. You're like, really? You showed up to the track just to dump tires from another event?
Yeah.